Hi everyone, Jordan Emily here. Today I'm going to be showing you some of my professional tips and tricks that I've learned over the years on how to achieve this flawless, natural skin feel makeup application. And I'm going to be sharing some of my knowledge about moisturizers, the best ones to use for different skin types, primers, and foundation, and how to pick your foundation. And then I'm also going to be showing you some tips and tricks on contours and blushes. And my favorite part, setting powders. So I did some of my eye makeup off camera. I want to dive deep more into skin prep. With makeup application, I kind of like to view it as painting. Why painting and makeup are kind of similar is because you want to pretend your face is like a blank canvas. Before you put any paint on a canvas, you always put primer on it. So we're going to be talking about moisturizers and primers. I always love starting off my makeup applications with a moisturizer because makeup is going to be very naturally drying. I always love using my favorite Weleda Skin Foods moisturizer. A little bit with this moisturizer goes a long way because it is super thick and very creamy. And I'll really just spend a good amount of my time massaging it into my skin, kind of going in like this upward lifted motion to help my skin absorb that moisturizer so it's nice and hydrated. Then also too, going in this lifted motion is stimulating my lymph nodes. So it's actually going to help with some lymphic drainage if you feel puffy or just very congested in your face. A lot of the times if I'm in a rush, I'll actually do my skin prep, moisturizers and primers before I do my eye makeup because then it gives time for it to set. Because you don't want to keep piling all these products onto your face but without letting them dry, because then they're going to stick together, they're going to get clumpy, and that's how you get cakey makeup. So after my moisturizer is the very important part, is primers. With primers, you want to analyze your skin type. Me, I have oily, acne prone, very enlarged pores. I love using pore filler primers on more oily skin types because oil is gonna have your pores become a little bit more open and exposed. So it's good to have more of a pore filling primer because then it'll create a very smooth and even base. I'm gonna mainly focus around where I get really oily and where there's a lot of exposed pores. It's usually normally T-zone, and then I get a lot on my cheeks. Same thing with my moisturizer. You want to give it some love. You want to rub it in. You want to let it sink into your skin. It takes about 26 seconds for your skin to absorb something and just enjoy it. I know there are so many other silicone pore filling base primers out there, but I really love this Rare Beauty one. It doesn't feel heavy. It feels very lightweight. It makes my skin feel very smooth without it feeling very heavy or clogged, because that's not a feeling I want. Okay, so after I've done all my skin prep, my canvas is nice and prepped for foundation. When picking your foundation, make sure you are being realistic with yourself. If you have a lot of dark markings and if you have dramatic discolorations that you want to cover, you need to go in with a higher coverage foundation, or it's not going to do anything and you're just going to be piling on makeup on your face and then it's going to feel heavy, cakey, and you're going to be dissatisfied with your results. Me, I'm trying to cover up all of my not so great acne markings. I'm a little insecure with them. I'm going in with more of a medium coverage foundation, and I'm going to be using the Easy Blur by Huda Beauty in the color Creme Brulee. So I was really curious to try this, and let me just say, Huda, I loved it. It gave me the coverage that I wanted without feeling heavy, and I could wear it for prolonged periods. So I could wear this at work, I could wear this on date nights and dinners. It was a really beautiful formula. So round of applause for Huda. Give this bad boy a good little shake. Oh no, it's coming out. Oh, I shook it too much. I love doing kind of a two-step application method. Take a little bit on my brush, and how I'm gonna apply it is I'm not gonna do any swiping or brush-like motions. I'm simply going to tap it in. And also too, with my foundation, I'll always bring it down to my neck because I want this to be blended very nice and seamless. As you're watching me apply this, you're probably thinking, Jordan, this is not your color. Look at this. It actually is, because what I'm looking at is this color between my face and my neck. My body is actually more neutral tone than my face. My face is very pink and it's very red. I don't like my redness. So I always kind of love picking a foundation that's more on the neutral side that cancels out my redness. We have our foundation on. Now I know we look a little weird. Bear with me here. After I apply all my foundation with a brush, I'm gonna go in with my handy dandy little beauty blender and I'm gonna blend out that foundation again. All right, your under eye area is very thin, very fragile. You don't wanna overload it with products. It'll just start to look cakey and creasy. I love avoiding that area because all I wanna put down there is concealer. We're on a Huda streak today. I'm just gonna be taking a little bit, making a little triangle kind of on the inner corners of my eyes. I'm gonna be taking my beauty blender. I'll like to wait a little bit towards semi-dry. You're gonna look all the way up and you're gonna do a tiny little tapping motion and blending it upwards, and then you're gonna go back in. You wanna pretend like you're filling in the lines. Personally, with my under eye area, I love to do a half a shade lighter than my foundation because I really love a nice bright under eye. I love using cream products. If you're a cream product user, you want to do this before any powder. So if you do powder before creams, that's how you get cakey makeup. I'm going to be using my two favorite cream bronze and blushes, both by Charlotte Tilbury. They're her contour ones. Analyze your face shape. If you don't have a super prominent cheekbone, I would find it and go right on top of it. If you have a super prominent cheekbone, I would go slightly under it. I'm gonna take a little bit on the back of my hand. I'm gonna go slightly under my cheekbone. I'm gonna kind of curl it up because I always want that uplifted motion. I'm gonna do the same thing with my forehead. You wanna analyze your forehead shape. If you have a super long forehead, you want to bring your contour down more. If you have a super short forehead, you want to keep it really close to your hairline. I kind of have a medium shorter forehead. It gets a little bit longer up in this part. So I'm going to keep this really close to my hairline and then kind of bring that out and then keep this really close. With my jaw area, a lot of women, they'll put their contour right on top of their jaw right here. You don't want to do that. You want to go slightly under it. And then I'll actually go a little bit back here. So you see how I kind of have like a nice little 3 going around here. I learned this just from a very talented pro makeup artist. She put bronzer back here and I love that idea. You're gonna take your beauty blender. You can kind of already see the difference. I have a little bit more shape and more color back into my face. So as I was blending out a little bit of my bronzer, I noticed some of my acne dots were coming out a little bit more. You want to cover a little bit more dots. Take a little bit of concealer. I always love taking my finger and blending around the edges. Same thing with blush. I'm going to take a little bit of this blush. This one I'm just going to use my finger. Find where the apples of your cheeks is and just dot that on there. So I like to place my blush there because blush is supposed to mimic the natural flush you get on your face. Take a beauty blender and blend that out. This next step is very, very, very important. And I feel like this is the step that really pulls in my makeup look. How I prevent anything moving and creasing is you're gonna take a little bit of translucent powder. We're going in with Huda Beauty again. I love using the Huda Beauty translucent powder in Pound Cake. I'm gonna take this handy dandy thing called a velour puff or powder puff. You can kind of see that my concealer moved and it fell into the creases of my eyes. You're gonna take your beauty blender, you're gonna look up, you're gonna blend out all of that product that molded into those creases. You're gonna take your velour puff, pack that all in with powder. is gonna kind of look like that. And you're gonna pack that into your under eye. You're gonna put powder on places where you feel a little bit sticky or wet from the cream products and where you tend to get smile lines. I get a really big smile line in there. With the translucent powder, if you are more on the drier side, I would stay focused more on that inner eye area or on any lines that you might typically have. All right, and we got all of our makeup all set. Now, if we feel like we want a little bit more color, I'm probably gonna go in with maybe a little bit more bronzer, and that's when I'm gonna be using my powders. So I'm gonna take a nice fluffy little angled brush like this, tap that into a little bit, and I'm gonna go right over the bronzer. And I'm gonna do a pressing motion first to establish color, and then I'm gonna blend it out using a regular swiping motion. I love touching up with a powder bronzer because this way then I don't feel as colorless. After my bronzer, I'm gonna take a little bit of highlighter. I'm obsessed with the Anastasia Glow Kits. For highlighter, I love going straight down my nose and then doing a little horizontal one. This creates a really nice, cute little button nose effect. And then I'll take it, go right on top of my cheekbone, really close to my eye. And that's pretty much my foundation routine that I do when I want a little bit extra coverage to cover up my little acne dots. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of lipstick and then show you the final setting. Added a little bit of a nice little nude lip combo with some gloss. This is kind of very much an everyday date night, work kind of makeup routine I'll do when I want a little extra coverage, and I also have more time. To set my makeup all together, I'm going with my 2 setting sprays. I love using 2 because they both do different things. This one's gonna give more of a radiant finish, and it's gonna help melt all of my makeup together. This one is more of an alcohol-based setting spray, so it's gonna add in a little bit of a mattifying effect. I like using this one because I am more oily skinned. And then there you have it. You just became one video smarter with learning how to apply your foundation, moisturizers, and primers. I'm always curious to hear about your guys' makeup struggles, so if you have any questions about how your makeup is setting, or if you have any questions about applying or order, please comment down below. I'd love to answer all your questions and kind of help teach you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and then check out my other videos too if you have any other questions. And until next time, I'm Jordan Emily. Keep practicing. Confidence comes from understanding, and I'm here to teach. Bye guys.